want to wish each one of you hopefully a blessed and meaningful Friday. Last night we gathered in here for worship, and Thursday nights are relatively small and informal. And there was a intensity in this room that I don't feel very often. It was just somehow across the miles we were united with our brothers and sisters from Uvalde in Texas. And I think there was an atmosphere of grief for the loss, and realizing that when you really believe that God is in the heart and soul and the guts of who you are, then another person's grief is our grief, and our grief is another person's grief. And I read these words about grief from a lady named Wendy. She says, "You don't ever get over it. You just get through it. It doesn't get better, it gets different. And every day, just like me, grief puts on a new face." We were united in our grief for our brothers and sisters in Uvalde. I think we've been united in our grief for what people are going through in Ukraine. And being that this is Memorial Day weekend, I think of I can't imagine what it's like when you have a son or daughter or a good friend or a partner, a spouse, and you get that knock on the door from somebody in the military and they tell you that your loved one has lost their life fighting for their country. Grief can be pretty intense. I mentioned last night, and all I have is my story. Before church yesterday, I went and cut my grass. And cutting the lawn is one of the few things I know how to do around the house, and one of the few things I start and finish at the same time, the same day. And afterwards, I was sitting on my porch with a beverage, and I was just looking at my lawn and looking at the American flag in our front yard, and I started to feel guilty. I thought about the blue-collar Ukrainian guy who would love to mow his lawn, and he sit on his porch and look at his farm, because a lot of them are farmers, and look at the harvest. And now when he is at where his home was, his home has been destroyed, and he can no longer harvest his crops. How he would love to sit on a porch and look at his flag. And I thought about the Texan who would cut his lawn and sit on the porch of his house, and his daughter would get off the bus from school and jump into her daddy's lap, and he would look at his cut lawn and look at his family and think about his house, and then how about that? His daughter is no longer there. She's been killed in a school shooting. And so I guess it's called survivor's guilt, that you realize how unfair life can be and how unlucky some people are and how lucky we are. It just makes me realize that it's so important to care about each other and to love each other. And so what can we do? Well, it's Memorial Day weekend. And earlier today I was out putting flags in the ground. And as I put each flag in the ground, I thought about what our country stood for. And I realized, in light of all the things that are going on around us, in light of the grief and the uncertainty, that flag stands for something special. It stands for our country. It stands for our freedom. And maybe the best thing we can do is do whatever we can to help people come together. Because in the face of tragedy, because we are brothers and sisters and we're all children of God, it's important that we step back and come together and look each other in the eye and realize that we have a lot in common. And maybe, too, we can say, "I love you" more and say thank you more, and just look at the people around us and hug them and be nourished by them in that spirit. It's easy to, in the midst of our grief, it's easy to kind of step back and to give up and pretend all that kind of stuff doesn't happen. But at the same time, when you really believe that we are all children of God, when you believe in the gentle power of that humble carpenter, when you believe in what the flag stands for, then you know that there's hope at the end of the day. And that gives us the courage to face tomorrow. And I want to thank you for listening and for being here for the last 2+ years, because today and then on Monday about 8:30 will be our last talk for the day for a while. But you know, that bond between us, what our church stands for, what our country stands for, that's going to be with us every single day. And I just hope that we will come together and know that we never get over it. And it doesn't necessarily get better, it just gets different. But one thing that's not different is the spirit that the good Lord gives us that binds us together. I wish you a blessed weekend. To all our veterans, thank you for the service to your country. And to those of you who made the ultimate sacrifice, that gift of freedom is something we'll never forget. God bless, and look forward to seeing you on Sunday at 8:30 and 10 o'clock. Nice way to end it, Doug. Thank you.